Welcome to iOS Insights, the channel for iOS app development using SwiftUI and Swift. For this SwiftUI core location course, this is what we will be building. You can search for different addresses. For example, if I type in Westfields and click on Get Address, it finds all the occurrences of Westfields in England, Westfields Shepherd's Bush or Westfields East London shopping centres. And then if I click on the actual row list, and then it displays the annotation that includes the full address of Westfields in Shepherd's Bush. And if I do the same thing for East London, it shows you the location for East London on the annotation. So this is what we will be building. Within your Xcode project, do the following. Click on your project's name that's in blue. For example, the one that I've created is called Core Location Address Lookup, the one at the top, which is in blue, this one here. And then to enable the locations to be retrieved on the iOS platform, iOS device, we need to update the info plist. So select the info plist by clicking on info. And then select any of the rows and then click on Control key, and then you left click on the mouse button and then select Add Row, and then search for privacy location when in use, usage, description. So there's privacy, location. It can be a bit fiddly. Location when in use. This is this one down here. Privacy location when in use, usage description. So click on that one, and then for the value, just enter a name. For example, address finder application. And then we have to add another row called privacy location always usage description. So click on the Control key and then right click on the mouse at the same time. Left click on the mouse at the same time. And then click on Add Row. And then type in privacy location hyphen location always usage description, which is this one here. So it's privacy location always usage description. So you click on that one, and then when you click on that one, just enter a value within the value field, or we can just copy and paste what we've done previously in this field at the same application name and then paste it into the value field. And the purpose of editing the info plist is to give the iOS application authorization to use maps and core location. And then the next thing we need to do is go into the content view. And now we can start adding our variables. So we need to import MapKit. And then, oh yeah, the reason why we need to import MapKit is because MapKit includes all the related map functionality that's needed for the application. And then on line 12, we need to add our state variable, state at state, private var, user location, CL location, coordinates 2D, optional. And the purpose of that variable is to, it just states the user's location, like it captures the user's location. And then we have to create another variable, which is another at state, private var, selected place mark, MK place mark, optional. And that's just a state property for the selected place mark. And then there's another variable we have to create, which is called private var search query string. That just includes a search query, which is the address that we're looking for. At state private var search results, search results, search results equals open bracket, close bracket. So what that does, it just creates an array of all the addresses that we're trying to search for. And search results, the actual class, it doesn't exist at the moment, so we need to create that later. And then the two final state properties that we need to create are at state private var is text field empty equals true, and at state private var search timer, which is a timer. And then on line 22, delete lines 22 to 25. And then on line 21, enter the following, which is navigation view. and then add a closing bracket down there on line 28. And then within the VStack, we need to add our map view. So just type a little comment for map view. And now we need to create our actual map view. So to create our map view, what we will do, we'll go down to line 31 and create our map view. So map view is struct map view UI view representable at binding bar user location CLL location coordinates 2D optional. And the purpose of that is to create a bindable variable for the user location. So these bindable variables, they will be passed to and from the other views. At binding var selected place mark mk place mark question mark, and then we create another binding variable at binding var search result search results. And now to, as I said earlier, we have to create the search results class or struct later. So now to create and configure the map view, we need to add a make UI view function. So we can add it by clicking on the red dot which is here to add the stubs for it. Oh, it didn't create it. Probably have to create it manually. So let's delete that. Let's create it manually. So just type in function make UI view, and this should be returning an MK map view because we're using the map. Let map view equals MK map view. So what this does, it creates an instance of the map view. Map view dot delegate equals context dot coordinator. And the purpose of setting the delegate via the coordinator is to set and handle the map events. Map view dot shows user location equals true. which shows the user location on the map. That's one of the events. Return map view. And then the next thing we need to do is create the function that updates the map view. So just type in function, update UI, update UI view. If let user location is equal to user location, so that just checks that the user location is available by doing safe unwrapping. Let region equals MK coordinator. MK coordinator or MK coordinate region center user location span MK coordinate span latitude delta. So the latitude delta is 0.05 and the longitude data is 0.05. And then UI view set region and true, and that just sets the region on the map view. Oh, so why is it not working there? I think there's an error somewhere. So yeah, this bracket on line 52, that should be after line 49. So we need to place that one there. And then next thing we need to do is to check the selected place marks are not nil. So what we need to do is after line 53, just type in if selected place mark is equal to nil, and UI view dot annotations dot count is more than 0, the UI view dot remove annotation dot remove annotations, need to put an S at the end of that one, remove annotations UI view dot annotations. So what that does, it just makes sure that only one annotation can be on the map at any one time. And then we need another if statement after line 57, which is if let place mark is equal to selected place mark. So what that does, it just checks that the selected place mark is available. UI view dot add annotation place mark. And then the next thing we need to do is create another function that's called make coordinator function, make coordinator, that returns a coordinator. Coordinator, open bracket itself. So what that does, it checks if it creates a coordinator for a map view, and then it returns an instance of the coordinator by using itself. So now we'll create the coordinator class. The class coordinator NS object MK map view delegate var parent map view init parent map view self.parent is equal to parent. What that does, on line 68, it creates a coordinator class, and then the purpose of using MK map view delegate is to handle map events. Then on this line, line 69, that's just used to reference the parent map view. And then line 71 and 72 initializes the coordinator with the parent view. So now what we need to do is, the next thing to do is to create the search results, which is a struct search result identifiable. Let ID string, let place mark mk place mark, let title string, and let full address string. So what this does on line 32 is that it defines a struct for search results with identifiable conformance. So what that means is that if we use identifiable in a struct, that means we have to have an ID variable as well. So the purpose of identifiable and ID is to give the record or give the struct a unique ID for each row or each record that will be displayed or shown within a list or some type of loop. And the place mark is associated with the actual results, and the full address is the actual full address that's returned back to the user. On line 38, enter the following. Which is extension. Really, this should be in a separate class or separate file. Extension mk place mark, but we can move it to a separate file afterwards. Var formatted address string. So this creates a computer property to format the address. Optional. And the good thing about computer properties, they're only called when needed, so it reduces the application memory. Var address components. So address components is a string array that includes all the components that makes up an address, such as town, city, postcode, or if you're in America, zip codes, country. And now the next thing we need to do is safe unwrapping to get each of the address components. So if let name is equal to self.name, add address component dot append name. Then if let locality is equal to self.locality. So if it's not nil, then address components dot append locality. If let postal code is equal to self.postal code, then address components dot append postal code. So it gets the postal code there. And then if let country is equal to self country, address components dot append country. And then we just return the actual address components, where each component will be joined by a separator, which is what we're using, is a comma. So let's compile it just to make sure that everything is correct. So as I said before, we can put this within an extension. So what we'll do is copy that name, MK placemark, create a new file, and then for the extension name we will just add MK placemark and then use a plus sign and type the word extension and click on create. And then we'll go back to the content view and just cut the following code as in move. So we're going to move lines 39 to 62. Just cut it and then move it into the MK placemark plus extension file. And then the extension is now in a separate file. So we probably need other import statements that's needed. For example, MapKit. Let's compile it now. See if it works. So that compiled, which is good. The next thing we need to do is we need to go back into the content view and then on line or after line 29 create a function called get user location. Function get user location. Let location manager equals CL location manager. So create a new instance of the CL location manager. Location manager dot request when in use authorization. So what that does, it requests authorization to use poor location, to use the maps on the device. If let location is equal to location manager dot location, so if the location is available, as in it's enabled on the device, then location is equal to location dot coordinate, so it will get the coordinates of the user's location. And then the next thing we need to do is create another function, but let's compile this first. So this function is called function perform search. And the purpose of this, it performs the search on the address. Let request equals mk local search request natural language query equals search query. So the purpose of that line 33, whatever we're searching for, such as just say we're searching for Westfields, it will locate all of the instances that has Westfields within that country. Or if you want to broaden it, you can type in an actual country. For example, if there's one in America, type in America and Westfields. But the default is the current country that the person is in. That's why they call it the MK local search. Let search equals MK local search request to create a local search. Search dot start, and then we're using a closure here. Response error in if let error is equal to error. So if there's an error, then we just print it. Search failed with error. Error localized description. And then we just return from the if statement, so exit. Let's compile it. And then on line 42, you just type in if let map items is equal to response dot map items. So what that does, it just checks if the search results are available. And then if it is available, we type in the following: search results dot append content of map items dot compact map. Map item in. That's another closure we need to use. So what that line does is that it filters and appends the search results based on the query. So now what we need to do is, if let title is equal to map item dot name, return search results which will include the unique ID, which is UUID, UUID string, the place mark, which is the map item dot place mark, the title, which is the title, and the full address, which is the map item place mark dot formatted address question mark. So if it doesn't exist, if the formatted address doesn't exist, just return question mark instead of crashing, that is. And next thing we need to do is we need to have a return statement that returns nil. And then I just compile it to make sure that it's correct. And then the next thing we need to do is to create a debounce function. And the purpose of the debounce function is to remove any of the previous data. For example, to remove any of the previous actions that we've done within the application, like search results. So what we'll do now is create the function debounce search timer do we have a search timer? Did we define it at the beginning? Search. I spelled it incorrectly. That should be search timer. search timer question mark invalidate. What that will do, it cancels the previous search timer if it exists. Just gonna compile it again. I can't find the variable search timer at state. This is it. I'll just copy it. I'll try it now. Yeah, that's correct. The search was spelled incorrectly, so it should be yeah, that's right. Search timer. And then we start a new timer with a delay of 0.5 seconds. So just type in search timer equals timer dot schedule timer with interval which is 0.5, repeats which is false. Again, these ones we don't need, so we can delete that. So what should be there is time interval, which is 0.5. Or that should be with time interval, which is 0.5. And repeats is false. And then it's another closure. And then perform search. Let's compile it again. Yeah, now we go back to the UI that we started initially, the map view line that had the comment on line 24. And now we can just complete the UI and then we can test the application afterwards. User location, $, user location, selected place mark, search results, $, search results. See, as I said before, the bindable or the binding variables like user location, selected place mark, and search results all relates to these variables, which is user locations, selected place mark, and search results. These are the parameters that we're passing to the map view, which is this is the map view. So that's how we pass data around in SwiftUI, by using @state and @binding. Well, that's one of the ways. There's a few other ways as well. And then we just enter .frame. Height is 300. And then next thing we need to do is for the VStack, enter VStack spacing 10, create a text field, search for an address, text, $search query, that's a bindable text, dot padding equals 10, dot background rounded rectangle, dot corner radius 10, dot fill color gray, opacity 0.2, dot foreground color, dot primary, dot font headline, and then we create the onChange event, search query, and then it should be like that, and then it's another closure, new value in is text field empty, new value is empty, search results. So what this does, when the user is typing, when they click on backspace, that's an onChange event. So each time when they click on backspace to perform the onChange event, the text fields will be updated to be empty, and the search results array will be removed, so the array will be empty. And the purpose of that is so that the user can perform a new query, as in search for a new address within the text field. Next thing we need to do to enable all of that is to place a button onto the view. Action, button is search results, not the button, I mean the variable is search results dot removal, search query equals comma comma, and selected place mark is equal to nil. And then what we will do, we add an image to the button, a system image, system name, X mark, circle, dot fill, circle spelled incorrectly, circle. That is correct now. And then next thing we need to do is add a foreground color dot gray, and add a padding which is dot yeah, what should I do for the padding? No, for the padding, yeah, dot trailing and 8. And then the next thing we need to do is to display the list of results. I just run it just to show you what it looks like at the moment. But remember, the full source code is available on iOS Insights. You just download it from the website, iosinsights.co.uk. So what is it doing? Is it loading? Is it loading now? Yeah, as you can see, it's loaded the map and the search for an address field. So we just need to do the rest. To display the search results, we'll be displaying that within a list. A list is like a table or a grid. So just type in list, search, results, result in, well, that should be result in button, action, and then type in selected, place mark is equal to result dot place mark, user location is equal to result dot place mark dot coordinate. And then for the actual text or the caption of the text, just type in result dot full address dot font dot body. And then what we need to do next is we need to show or add the get address button. If not, is text field empty? If the text field isn't empty, then show the get address button. Then button, action, debounce search, UI application dot shared dot send action selector UI responder dot resign first responder. And the purpose of resign first responder is to hide the keyboard when you no longer need to use it. Nil from is nil. For is nil. Next thing we do is add the actual caption to the button, which is get address. So that should be text get address dot padding dot background dot blue dot foreground color dot white dot corner radius is 10. And then on line 82 on line 80 we just add a navigation bar title dot navigation bar title, and then just call it address finder display mode. Display mode is inline. Let's see if that works now. So this should be in the text field. So let's type it in anyway, see if we can search for an address. So if I type in Westfields, and type it and press the button get address, let's see what happens. So it gets all the addresses, as you can see. And then if I select the address, Westfields, you can see it displays the place mark on the map. So let's see if we can fix that issue with the caret not being in the text field. Oh, it seems like we missed out a H stack. So on line 27, after line 27, on line 28, there should be a H stack. And then we need to place a closing bracket on this line here. And then the next thing we need to do is the navigation bar title. We need to move that and place that on line 84. And now that should all be correct. So now the text field and the caret should be placed correctly. Yeah, that's correct. So I'll type in Westfields again. Click on get addresses or get address. As you can see, it selects the address. And now we can delete the actual value in the text field by clicking on the caret, which is this thing. This is the caret. And as you can see, the text field information has been removed and the list data has been deleted as well, so that we can start a new search. And that's the end of the calls for core location of this part and address finder. There'll be other courses similar and more advanced in the future. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have any comments or feedback, please let me know. You can submit it on iOS Insights website or on iOS Insights YouTube channel.